All right, so I'll continue. So yeah, it was just one source said that the Pope had secretly appointed Vlad Dracula as part of it. One source said that it was just openly. Now another thing I want to talk about is the Reconquista. And the Reconquista was all about Catholicism. Spain had really I do believe Spain had really gone through this. And by the way, Cortez was born I think he was born like 10 years after Vlad died, which is very funny. But Spain had a very, this strong, the Catholicism just meant a lot to them. And I've told you that when Cortez went, even when the conquistadors went, it was very well known that they were very turned off. The thing that they hated about the indigenous people of Latin America was that they were doing child sacrifices and sacrifices of people regularly on the regular. And they thought that was heresy. Like this has been really recorded. When something makes somebody angry, for example, it really gets recorded in history. And they were very angry when they saw that. Like when they saw that, they were like, okay, you're gonna have two choices. Either you convert to Catholicism or you die. Because this type of shit is really starting to anger us. You know what I mean? And that's really what happened. But also in Spain, there was a lot of this anger going around, why is in our country, why do we have these foreigners living here with their foreign religions when our religion is Catholicism? So the Reconquista was done, and that was basically to rid Spain of Muslims and Jews as well. The story goes that the Sufis, which is a mystical branch of Islam, who believe in drinking wine and they don't exactly pray in the traditional sense that the Muslims do, and they do a lot of chanting and mystical stuff, mystical science or whatever you want to call it, and they typically lived in the countryside of Spain. So what happened was that because they lived in the countryside and they were a bit more not so intense, not so radical, because they were not so radical, they lived in the countryside. History says, and I've read this many times, and I've seen it in documents. So history says that they allowed the Sufis to stay, and some of the Sufis still live in the countryside till today. So they allowed them to stay. They said, we got no issue with you guys. But some of these foreign Muslim people, we want them out of here. And they called it the Reconquista, right? Which, you can figure that out. It's, taking back our land or whatnot. So I've talked about that. You know what? I should have done a little bit of research before I started talking about this. But this is going to be my, kind of going off my own mind. I do have a bit of I am able to think a little bit when it comes to things like this, and definitely I'll have a good point of view. And the good thing is that when I actually read up on it a little bit, I'll have an educated point of view on this. But anyways, the point is that so I talked about Latin people have always been sailing. Like Christopher Columbus was Italian, okay. Italy used to be Latin, okay. Like Latin is also the source of the Italian language as well, okay. The Italian language originates from Latin, just like the Spanish language originates from Latin. Okay, so Christopher Columbus and all the Cortez and all these they were all Latin when they went to conquer, right? You know that the British and French did Canada, and that America turned on the British and made their own thing. But what I was getting at, and I'm going off my own mind here, and I'm gonna have to read up on this stuff and then give an educated video on it, but I would say that old Latin people are not exactly easy to identify or find. It's hard to know, you really, I'm lucky in a sense that I had those vampire teeth and everything, and that my hair, with the natural, sometimes in artificial light it'll do it, but even in the sunlight, the fact that my hair color reveals, and it is as light as it is, if it was blonde, I would probably, and I had blue eyes, I'd be like, man, maybe I originate from Nordics, or Nordic or whatever or Nordics or whatever you want to call it, right? But because it's not, I can kind of say dude, that's very Latin. It's not Nordic, so it must be Latin. Now the people must be old people. Obviously, we talked about historically and everything. I don't know. I mean, people say that the old Europe has a distinct look. All the old European people typically have a bit of a distinct look, right? And I don't even know if we were really to break down Europe or the Caucasian race into sections. I don't even know how many sections we'd get. You know what I mean? And I'm sure, like I don't even know how many sections there would be in Europe. You know what I mean? Now, going back to the Latin thing, I wanted to do this video because I felt like I wanted to kind of make a video to show my Latin pride. You know what I mean? To show that I'm proud of it, and I think that people should be proud of that. I'll tell you honestly, when I was younger, my whole thing was not about, I wasn't really into anything racial, and some people hated me for this. But I wasn't into racial. My idol of all time was Genghis Khan. Okay, and he was a Mongolian, Central Asian guy, who took over, who had the largest continuous land empire. Okay, and people hated me for that because history hated him, people hated him. You know what I mean? And that was my thing, but that didn't have to do with origin or anything like that. I wasn't into any kind of origin or anything, or anything like that. Yeah, but yeah, getting back into that Latin thing. For the Latin thing, it's just to kind of throw it out, to be a little bit proud of it. You know what I mean? And like I said, the people in Latin America are called Latinos. Their race is called Latinos. They live in they have a very large population in the United States. There's a lot of Latinos there, and that's pretty much, I mean, word has it, and historically, word has it that Cortez created that name Latino, and he called Mexico New Spain. Like it wasn't originally called Mexico, it was called New Spain. Called it New Spain, you know what I mean? And the population was Latino, right? And it is what it is. But it's not that easy for somebody to say, well, I'm Latin, and that's why they throw out these DNA tests and stuff, which are all bullshit. But I'm sure there are people who have like their family routes. Listen, man, there are people in this world who have like their great grandparents buried in the same cemetery, so they know exactly who their like great grandparents were, because literally they've all been living in the same, they never moved, they lived in the same place, the same area, and literally the same cemetery. So some people really do know that, like, dude, like, I know I'm Latin, like, originally I know I'm Latin. I don't know. I guess you gotta really look at people to know or to not know. But I mean, it's definitely a race in Europe, the whole Latin race. I got nothing else to say. I thought I was gonna come up with a lot of content. I thought I was gonna be talking and Latin race this, Latin race that. I haven't come up with much at all. All I know is that there's Latin people in Italy, Romania, and Spain. And even Romania is kind of like, are they, what kind of Latin people are they? Because they're supposed to have vampires and things like that in Romania. So like, well, you know what I mean? I don't really know much. I haven't came at you with much. All I've said is that in Latin America, they're Latino. That Spain and Italy definitely has Latin race, and Latin roots. Definitely, like old Latin race in Spain and Italy, 100%. I don't know about other places, but I will tell you this. I always do. Whenever I read up on history or read up on anything, I love checking out official sources. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I when it comes to history, History Channel is one of the best sources out there. History Channel still runs till today. I mean, their shit is really good, man. No historic source will ever be 100%, but you try to find like good sources, and History Channel always has good sources. I try to look for name stuff or real encyclopedia type of stuff, but even then, I told you my number one is History Channel. So I'm gonna do my own reading, and probably tomorrow I'll try to post a video on the Latin race after doing some reading, or maybe after a few days. I might need a few days. But I'll try to come back with it at some point. It might not be for a week or something, but I'll try my best, and I'll try to make a bit more of an educated perspective and an educated video. Anyways, I'm done for now. I hope you enjoy this video. I don't know how you're gonna watch all of it, because some of my videos with the fire emojis, the fire content, they're easy to watch. You can watch 15 minutes of it and be like, whoa. but this one is kind of really hard to go through. It's pretty much, if you're Latin, you'll be watching it, and even then, it's not a, I don't think you're gonna want to watch the whole thing. You might want to watch part of it and quit out. But I'll let you know again that I will post, like, for the Latin people. I will post a really like a more educated video. Anyways, I'm done for now, so we'll end it here.